And that brings us to kefir and yogurt and probiotics, which are splendid parts of a good diet. There is some research done that probiotic dairy products have a beneficial effect on the outcome of cancer treatments, especially after chemotherapy, where that chemotherapy that kills an important part of your gut flora.
I think that's one of the main elements that we should talk about, very specific.
Yeah.
How do you address that? Because, as we say, most people have leaky gut, they have highly inflamed intestines, they have serious digestive problems. The gut is where the immune system lives, so that's one of the main things to be addressed. We certainly know that a healthy diet will change, but it's a very, very slow motion process. What kind of means do you have to expedite the healing there?
Wow, since half a year we have a very, very special project going on together with a researcher from the University of Florence, and his name is Marco Ruggiero. He is a professor in molecular biology and has its own institute for experimental oncology. And we came into contact with Marco Ruggiero through articles we read about a immunological factor called GcMAF. GcMAF stands for granulocyte macrophage-activating factor. And there is some research, basic research done by a Japanese professor who worked in Philadelphia and is now retired. His name is Nobuto Yamamoto. And Yamamoto discovered the importance of this immunological factor some 10 years ago and did some experimental treatments of cancer patients with this immunological factor and published tremendous results. I have not heard, or we have not heard about this factor since a little more than a year ago. So it's very well hidden in the literature until you don't know about this factor's name, you can't find it. But once you know the name, you can look for the studies, and you will be amazed what was published by Yamamoto in the late 90s and 2000s, 2008, 2009. And he published treatments with enormous success rates, treating patients with metastasized cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate, lung cancer, so the 4 major cancer diagnoses, and had an incredible result with it. So what is it? This granulocyte macrophage activating factor is something that is apparent in all healthy individuals. We produce it in our liver. And Yamamoto found that this factor is cut in pieces, or the precursor of this factor, the so-called GC protein, is cut into pieces by an enzyme produced by cancer cells. So cancer cells develop an enzyme called Nagalase that is destroying the precursor of a major important immune activating factor. So Yamamoto then collected animal GcMAF from animal blood and injected purified GcMAF that he took from animal blood into cancer patients' bloodstream, and could show that the amount of macrophages and their activation degree increased dramatically, and that their cancer tumors shrank and in many times disappeared. It is almost too good to believe, but look into PubMed and look for GcMAF and Yamamoto, and you will find the results that I'm telling you about. So we were taught by a colleague that look at GcMAF studies, that's very, very interesting, and we saw it and asked ourselves, where can we get it? And the answer is nowhere, at least not in a legal way. GcMAF is not available in a legal way anywhere on Earth. Yamamoto got it for his experimental treatments for some years in Philadelphia in his institute, but I wrote a letter to him, it's not available. He's retired and there is no official production and there is no pharmacy that sells it. So where do we get this miracle factor for our patients? And that brought us into contact with Marco Ruggiero, who took over the research on GcMAF from Yamamoto. They worked together in the US, and now Ruggero is back in his institute in Florence, and developed a dairy product that contains significant amounts of GcMAF. Because everything that we inject is a remedy, and we all know how difficult it is to register a remedy. It costs millions of dollars, and if it comes to natural substances, the interest in companies to invest is very, very low, because you cannot take a patent for a natural substance. So here you are, you have a problem. So Marco Ruggero developed a method to produce a dairy product, a yogurt that contains GcMAF, and it is made out of colostrum. The first milk that a cow gives to protect the calf's immune system. The first 3 or 4 days, cow's milk, so-called colostrum, is very, very rich in the precursor of GcMAF, that's called GC protein. So we take the GC protein from colostrum, and then we do a very, very special fermentation procedure with colostrum and use bacteria to transform GC protein into active GcMAF, and we ingest it in the form of a yogurt. And since last fall, we have a growing number of patients. Now we have 14 or 15 active patients that learn the procedure how to prepare this yogurt, and they do it once a week in their kitchen, and they eat every day 150 milliliters of this yogurt, and by that they ingest GcMAF in an amount that is a little higher than what Yamamoto used to treat his cancer patients. And of course, it's too early to summarize the results. We just started, but we can say so far that patients are doing very well with the product, and we don't know whether what part of the altogether effect this GcMAF product has. But we interviewed a patient this morning that told us about her complete remission of liver metastases, that since the middle of January eats 150 milliliters of this special GcMAF yogurt every day. Okay. Was it the yogurt or was it the hypothermia? We don't know, but
yeah, that's always the challenge, because they never do one thing. They do so many things, yeah, and then they change their life, and then what was it?
What was it? But Ruggero is constantly publishing his newest results, and it's a very, very interesting topic, and we're looking forward to seeing more results and to eventually evaluate what we can say about the effect of this product.
And it's something the patient can do. So
it's something the patient can do, and as a positive side effect, it's a very good probiotic. Yeah, this very yogurt that contains significant amount of GcMAF is at the same time a probiotic that creates a healthy gut flora again, and Marco Ruggero talks about a restart of the gut flora that is similar to the gut flora we had when we were babies. And
he also uses it on AIDS patients.
Yeah.
So it's not just against a special kind of tumor. It's just renewing the gut.
So far, there are 3 groups of patients that are treated with this yogurt. That's, by the way, has the name MAF 314, macrophage-activating factor 314. 314 means that he needed to do 314 laboratory tests in order to find the correct amount of bacteria that do the job that we want to transform the GC protein.
You have that here? So
we have the ferments here. We have the ferments here, and actually we have in our refrigerator we have some yogurts, so you can taste it. Yeah. We had we do it on demand whenever we have 2 or 3 patients
that are. My wife does make yogurt with a special culture from, don't ask me where, it's not my department, but she does that for probiotic. So she has a special mixture in that she uses. So she makes her yogurt since quite a while for the kids and everybody, because that's what she realized is changing instantly any kind of. So I would be interested with that. Yeah.
So you need the special ferments that we get from Marco Ruggiero's laboratory, and the rest is colostrum and cow's milk. And colostrum is available; you can buy it online. Yes.
Here?
Yes.
In America, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Sorry to oppose, but Ruggiero has active contact with a clinic in North Carolina, and there is a way to get colostrum even in the United States. Officially, legally, that's not a problem.
Great.
Yeah. And the results, yes, the 3 patient groups that are under investigation right now is chronic fatigue syndrome. That's the specialty of the clinic in North Carolina. And then AIDS patients and cancer patients. Okay. And the results so far for AIDS patients and chronic fatigue syndrome patients are very, very well. For AIDS patients, Ruggiero could show the first results on the last annual AIDS conference in Rome last year, and he was accepted with his paper and lecture. So he could show that this yogurt improves the immune system and the overall well-being of AIDS patients significantly. And now we are trying to receive similar results with cancer patients.
Yeah, I see, because that's how I found you. You know, like somebody wrote into our membership area and said that I have to contact you because you're using that
MAF.
Yeah, MAF treatment, and that this would be something that should be very interesting to report about. So yeah, if we take some shots and
we do.
Good, that's really good. Yeah, great.
I like to quote a world expert on system theory at that point in our conversation, because we met many times this challenge of complexity. It's so complex and there is no single recommendation, one size fits all, do this and get free from cancer. It has to be individualistic. That's how we are as humans. We are individuals, we are not animals, we are much more individualized than animals. And the quotation that I like so much is from a American professor, Lofty Sadek, who was one of the big shots in system theory, and the quotation is as follows: as complexity increases, simple statements lose their meaning and meaningful statements lose their simplicity. So it is complex. We are very, very complex. We are bringing together 80 billion cells in an organism, and in every cell we have around 100,000 chemical reactions in every second, and so it's complex. And what is good for one person need not to be good for another. So there are some common sense rules for everybody, as we said, about sugar and omega-3 fatty acids and the right amount of sleep and so on. But there are also many, many aspects that have to be applied individualistically.